So, when you think about the USA, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Global superpower? Land of the free? Yeah, all of that's true. But here's the thing, that same nation, the one with all this power, is also full of these massive, kind of staggering contradictions. Today, we're going to dive into the paradoxes that really define the world's most powerful nation.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a number. A really, really big number. $500 billion. That's roughly the annual defense budget for the United States. I mean, a figure that just completely dwarfs what most other countries are spending. But, that's only one piece of the puzzle. The real story, the paradoxes, well, that's all hidden in the details.
All right, first up, a look at the profile of this superpower.
And you know what? To really get a sense of the scale of this place, we don't actually have to look at military spending. We can start with something way more ordinary, something that happens every single day, what Americans eat.
So, check out this number, 100 acres. What do you think that represents in the day-to-day life of America? Any ideas? It's not what you might think. It's not farmland or national parks. It's actually something you've probably had a slice of pretty recently.
Yep, 100 acres of pizza. Americans eat that much pizza every single day. That adds up to something like 3 billion pizzas sold every year. And that massive appetite, well, that's a huge part of the American paradox.
Okay, so where there's that much consumption, there's got to be an output, right? And that brings us to our next absolutely mind-blowing number, 1.4 billion pounds. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how much trash Americans throw away every 24 hours. It's the other side of the coin, you know? Massive consumption leads to massive waste. It's the first big paradox we're looking at in this high-consumption society.
All right, next up, inventions that shaped worlds. Because America isn't just about consuming, it's also a nation of creators.
I mean, their innovations have shaped pretty much the entire planet. Think about it. The transistor, the internet, the airplane. The list goes on and on. All these things changed everything. But there's one piece of tech we all use every single day that has a pretty surprising secret about American power baked right into it. I am, of course, talking about GPS. It's in our cars, on our phones. It helps us find coffee, tags our photos. It totally feels like a public utility, right? Like this free service for the whole world. But is it really? Well, here's the crazy part. The entire global GPS network is owned and operated by the US government, and they can technically shut it off or deny access whenever they want. So yeah, it's a global utility with one American gatekeeper. And that global influence isn't just about tech. Take sports. In the Olympics, especially the Summer Games, the US has just been a powerhouse, historically winning more medals than any other country. It's just another way they project that competitive power out onto the world stage. Okay, so moving on to section 4, truths, myths, and a flag. We've seen how America projects its power outward, but what's going on inside the country? What's its identity? This is where the paradoxes get even crazier. Okay, think about the moon landing. You could argue it's America's single greatest scientific moment, right? A huge deal. And yet, get this, 27% of Americans are either skeptical or straight up believe it was faked. That shows you just how deep the divisions can run, even over something that's supposed to be a unifying national triumph. Here's another one for you that busts a pretty common myth. Everybody assumes English is the official language of the United States, right? Well, it's not. While it's obviously the main language spoken, the US has actually never declared an official national language on a federal level. It kind of speaks to the country's super complex cultural fabric. And speaking of American symbols, you can't forget the flag. The story behind the current 50 star design is it's awesome. It was designed by a 17-year-old high school kid, Robert Heft, for a school project, and his teacher gave him a B-. But then his design gets chosen by the US Congress, and, you guessed it, the teacher went back and changed his grade to an A. How great is that? So that brings us to our final section, and honestly, maybe the biggest paradox of them all. We're talking about what life is actually like for the average American citizen. A life that's this wild mix of incredible freedom and really, really deep struggle. So on the one hand, you've got this amazing freedom. An American passport is one of the most powerful you can have. It lets you travel to 116 different countries without needing a visa. That's a ton of global access and opportunity right there. But, and this is a huge but, that freedom to see the world is a world away from the reality for many people inside the US. Almost half the population, 48%, is considered low income or is living in poverty. So you have a nation of potential world travelers, but at the same time, this immense struggle right at home. And a lot of that struggle comes down to debt. If you look at Americans who are in debt, the average amount they owe is $167,000. That is just staggering. And that right there is the core paradox, isn't it? A passport that can take you anywhere, but a bank account that might keep you from even leaving your hometown. So we kind of end up right back where we started, with a paradox. It's a country of incredible innovation and, at the same time, massive consumption. It has all this global power, but also these deep, deep internal divisions. Limitless freedom on one hand and widespread financial struggle on the other. It really just leaves you wondering, what is the true face of a modern superpower?